Today I want to talk about how to speak up in meetings without sounding defensive or aggressive, because you deserve to be heard without being labeled as being difficult. So have you ever left a meeting thinking, did I come off too hard, or should I have just stayed quiet and not said anything? Or maybe, why did I sound so defensive when I'm just trying to make a point? You're not alone. According to a McKinsey study, people are interrupted and spoken over 50% of the time. That's a lot. When I looked at that, I thought it was pretty high, but when I'm in a lot of meetings, I really see a lot of that. So I'm not sure if a lot of meetings being on Zoom or Teams or these digital types of meetings kind of are off maybe by a few seconds or so, but I just see a lot of people speaking over each other. So it's no wonder that speaking up feels like walking a tightrope, right? But here's the good news. You can voice your ideas confidently without being that person, and you know who that person is, right? So let's dive in and let's break it down. You want to start with framing, not fireworks. So we all get really emotional, right? Especially about topics that are very near and dear to our heart or things that we're working closely on. So before you dive into your idea, set the tone. Say something like, I'd like to offer a different perspective on this. Or to build on what's been said, I'm thinking we could also consider whatever that is. This signals collaboration, not combat. And Harvard Business Review found that framing your input as a contribution versus a correction, it increases perceived credibility and reduces pushback, which is the most important. So you want to be perceived as someone that knows what they're talking about, but also is almost, framing the idea as something collaboratively, if I could get that out, that you're all working on together, or you're all kind of defining this idea. Another area is to watch your tempo and tone. So it's not just what you say, but it's how you say it. Speaking too fast can make you sound nervous, defensive, and emotional. Speaking too slow, you'll kind of get steamrolled, right? So a tip here is moderate your pacing and keep a steady tone. This can lead up to confidence and composure and be perceived that way, which is what we want, right? A study from Quantified Communications revealed that speakers with a steady pace, and vocal variety were rated 40% more persuasive than those monotone, rushed speakers. And we all know who they are, right? If you've, gone to college, if you've sat in any kind of large scale type of speaking events, the individuals that are probably super smart, but their tone and their pace is so boring, right? Even if they have a really interesting topic. So finding that vocal variety, finding that steady pace that makes sense and is comfortable can really be the thing that can seal the deal on your communication style. Using I statements over you accusations is super helpful because you don't want to come off as accusatory. Instead of saying something like, you're missing the point, although we would love to say that, try say something like, I see things a little bit differently. Here's my take. This keeps the conversation open and avoids triggering defensiveness in the other people. They don't look at you as like you're trying to be bossy or you're aggressive, and they don't put up their defensiveness because they perceive what you're asking them as more as putting input to the conversation. So according to Psychology Today, I statements, they lower perceived aggression and they encourage productive dialogue. So although you would love to tell that person that it is their fault or you're not agreeing with what they're trying to say, if you can find a way to use those I statements to really massage it in, then the defensiveness goes way down. And another tip could be the power pause. So when someone challenges your point, don't rush to defend yourself. I always suggest this for really everything. Even when someone's asking you a question, take a minute, take a breath. It helps you to think about what you really want to say instead of quickly responding. So take that breath, then respond with something like, "That's a fair question. Here's how I'm thinking about it." Bam, right? The pause in your communication confidence, not combativeness, comes through. So neuroscience research shows that a brief pause can actually increase your listener's perception of your thoughtfulness. So when you take that pause, it's almost respectful because the other person kind of views it as they're thinking about what I'm asking them instead of having that quick trigger and just quickly responding. So it's thoughtful. They perceive you as caring about the question they're asking, that you're actually taking a minute to think through it. So give that a shot. A fifth tip is finish with curiosity. So instead of closing your point like it's a mic drop, which we would love to do, right? Invite others in. Say something like, "What are your thoughts on this approach?" Or, "Does this align with what others are seeing?" Curiosity diffuses tension and it positions you as a team player, not as some big tyrant. So the bottom line is this: you can absolutely speak up, disagree, and challenge ideas without being labeled as defensive or aggressive. It's about framing your points, managing your tone and pace, using collaborative language, pausing with purpose, and ending with curiosity. So the next time you're in a meeting, try one of these strategies and let me know how it goes. Or tell me your go-to line for interrupting without being obnoxious, if I could get that out, right? I'm always collecting new power phrases, so if you have any tips and tricks of your own, please put them in the comments. I would love to hear from you, and I would love to utilize them in some future videos, because I know you got this, and you know deep down that you've got this too. Your voice deserves the room. Gain the respect that you deserve. So do you want more strategies like this? Subscribe and let me know in the comments about topics that you would like more information on. If you're interested, I offer private coaching where I can help ambitious professionals navigate high-pressure litigations, interactions, situations, and communicate clearly under stress, and build careers defined by authenticity and influence, even in the toughest situations. So I'll leave my link to my website in the description below, and we will see you on the next video.